everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Business Power Hour with Darren, Dimples, and the Music Man. Me. Hey, Dimps.
Hey, Mr. Music Man. How you doing this evening?
What's going on?
How are you?
We're good. What's up? Two ladies. This is a true story. These two ladies at a network meeting came over to me, and he said, your show was really good, but we missed Dimples. Good evening, everybody. I just got the finger from Jim.
It's all part of the story.
Right.
Hey everybody, it's Darren from the Business Power Hour. I'm not going to be in the studio tonight. I'm traveling.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, except Darren's not here.
I'm here.
No,
I'm
you're
right
not
here.
Does anybody see that? Darren is not here. Darren is away.
I am right here, right
Be quiet
next
for
to
a
you.
second. You're not here. What? I don't know if you got lucky.
Not the really interesting question.
That's a fantastic question, Norman.
Wow. See, I got a fantastic. You just got good. I got fantastic.
Show's about him, so let's focus on that.
We are.
Were you drinking before the show?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
There we go. We got it.
It's good.
No, it's...
Now we got
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Smother it.
So, I think he got a music thing.
It's making noise.
It's making music.
Is it?
Yeah. That's so sweet. That's so sweet of you, Darren.
By the way, this is a Yankee station.
It's a
Thank
Yankee
you.
station. John,
Thank you.
it's a Yankee station.
All right.
Unfortunately...
We got bugs in here. What's going on?
I don't know.
Do you spray? Get an exterminator?
It's that time of year where you're getting bugs and stuff. As long as we don't have bees, I'm good.
Yeah, all right. That's.
But
We have a lot of undulations out in the field. Undulations.
Is that a wine? What the hell is undulation?
Fred, don't use big words. Hey, right? So this...
Help.
I gotta get him a cough button, Jim. What do you think?
A cough button
Because-
would be a good idea. Consider that a good question that he asked?
Great question.
There's
There
a
you go.
good
I
question.
got
Pythons
one.
and brains.
You're double D?
I'm double D. Show's about him, so let's focus on that.
We are. Hey, give me some loving.
How are you, Music Man?
Hello, Darren. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm
this week.
absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that
telling
you
you.
got some kind of brain damage when you had that thing last year.
I'm telling you that, and he called.
It's not classy, but classy.
Seeing interviews by Darren and the Music Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Siafe and Norman Wasserman.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour. Was that Profit First? This is the Business Power Hour.
Well, you know what? I mentioned this on a show, I think it was last week, that, my firm, we've taken a change of direction.
We're making all kinds of changes.
Well, we're making tremendous changes, and they're all for the benefit of my clients, right? I want a better life for my clients, not only a better life for my clients, but a better life for myself to make things easier.
Because profits first.
Yeah, and you remember Rob from Zipbox, right? So Rob,
Absolutely.
who's one of my clients, said, "Hey, you know what? I'm interested in doing this in my business. Read this book and tell me what you think." And I was like, "Man, this is it. This is the thing that I need in order to give my clients really what they need. It's like the missing piece I've been looking for over these last few years and doing the coaching and stuff." So, I found out how to become certified in it. And as you see here now, I am a profit first professional. So I'm really jazzed up about this thing, and I'm really pumped up. Great organization to work with. I've been working with a number of different people in the organization to make sure I'm successful in bringing the tools that Profit First have to my clients.
So do they teach you at Profit First to dress?
Why? What's wrong with the way I dress? I know.
At least you should have put on a tie.
Well, that's next. I'm sure that's the next thing. The whole reason
Put a collar on that shirt and stick a tie underneath it. Or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll be good. So how was your week?
My week was good. How was yours, my friend?
Typical sucky week.
Look, we're going into
Until
phase
this
two.
thing is over.
We're going into phase two, so you'll be allowed out soon.
Talking about phase two,
I'm getting a haircut tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Good for you.
All
Good for
right,
you.
let's give it up for phase
Yeah,
two.
phase 2 opens up tomorrow, right? Right here on
And
Long Island.
tomorrow, 9 o'clock, I'm first online. Here I come. I'm bringing the bagels. I can't wait. I can't wait to get
Well,
there.
our guest tonight,
We have a guest?
we have a guest. We have a fantastic, we got a couple of guests. We have like, I'm all pumped up about Profit First now, but we
I get
actually
it.
have the author of Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. Now, Mike is an entrepreneur. He has started 3 multi-million-dollar companies in his lifetime so far. Is the author of Profit First, Clockwork, The Pumpkin Plan, and his newest books, Fix This Next. Now, I read Fix This Next also, and I said, this is a great piece to kind of tie into Profit First and everything. And we're going to talk about that more when he comes on. But there's a certification program attached to it. So guess what?
Got to get certified. So you
I'm
got
certified already. I've jumped in. I'm all in. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
I
This
can see
is what it's
another
all
track
about.
right in back of that house of yours coming up. I think you're gonna race camels or something.
That's
back
it.
there.
I gotta get, yeah, it's gonna be, I'm gonna upgrade my Maserati pickup truck, right? But
Maybe you'll have to hire somebody one day and we can work out a deal.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, this was a pretty good staffing week.
Oh, good for you.
This was a pretty
So
good
people are starting
staffing
to come
week.
back
so-
and people are hiring again. Good.
Yeah, not enough for me, which is fine. And they deal only with me,
Right.
which is cool. So it's just a question of when I'll make the deals and when they'll hire somebody to make them happen.
It's all coming back now. I can see it turning it around. But also, let me just finish it before we bring Mike in. Mike is also a former small business columnist for the Wall Street Journal, and he
Nice.
regularly travels the globe as an entrepreneurial advocate. So let's welcome Mike Michalowicz and to the show.
Well, he's
I'm
double
actually
M. You're double D and he's double M.
Yeah, there
Double
you go.
D. That's not a compliment for a guy.
No, but you're double M.
Yeah, it's even
Well,
worse.
Mike, he started
welcome.
that one night on the
Thank you.
show, and we have certain people that watch all the time. So now I'm referred to as Double D
Love
or
it.
Dimple. He
And a
also
lot of other things too, by the way,
Yeah.
as they say.
one
But
one of my meetings with Liz. I work with Liz Sporn. Hi, and she said she was going to watch tonight. Hi, Liz.
hi, Liz.
Yeah, I get on the phone with her morning, and she goes, "Hey, Dimples, how you doing today?" Yes.
The power of the internet.
The power of the internet, right? So
There you
Mike,
go.
welcome to the show. I really want to, thank you for coming on tonight. Really appreciate that.
We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, no,
you-
it's my joy being here. So thanks to both you gentlemen.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
so tell us a little bit about, and I've read the book, I've watched the videos, I've
Drank the Kool-Aid.
so to speak. Tell us a little bit how Profit First came about. Not only how you wrote the book,
What is it?
but why you then went out and said, I want to spread it throughout the world. I want to empower people like me to take it and spread the word.
So ironically, I'm doing this from my home office, and I have a picture of the changing moment for me next to me. It was my daughter, and this picture is from many years back. But in 2008, Valentine's Day, I had sold my second company. I had 2 businesses. One was a private equity deal. Another one was sold to a Fortune 500. As a self-made millionaire in my early 30s, on Valentine's Day, through pure entrepreneurial ignorance, I had lost everything. And I had to come home to my family, my daughter included, and tell them that we're going to lose our house. We lost it 30 days later, lose our possessions. It was a total restart because I was totally ignorant of really what made entrepreneurship successful. And as I was telling them this, that I lost everything, my daughter, she ran to her bedroom as fast as she could. And I thought she was running away from me because she was so scared. I told her she couldn't do her horseback riding lessons anymore. Couldn't afford the $20 for horseback riding lessons. That's how broke I was. And she ran to her bedroom, not because she was running away, but she grabbed her piggy bank and she ran back to me. And she said, "Daddy, since you can't provide for our family, I'll do it." And it gives me chills thinking about it. But that became a turning moment for me. That was a day I realized that I think I was put on this earth to simplify the entrepreneurial journey, first for myself, but then for others. So I committed not in that moment, but that moment was a turning point for me to become an author. And so for the last now, since 2008, so 12 years, I've been an author of small business books. And that's how Profit First came about.
And
Your first book, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
My very first book was called The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. It was an edgy title. And what I was targeting was how the lack of resources actually works to our advantage. The lack of money actually makes you more innovative, and the lack of experience makes you challenge industry norms. So I started really kind of these contrarian beliefs. And one of the contrarian beliefs with Profit First, for example, is that profit comes last. We call it the bottom line or year end. And what I found is there was a study conducted by the US Bank, and they determined that 83% of small businesses are in check-to-check survival. There's 180 million of us, by the way, globally, 180 million businesses, and 83%, that's 140 plus million businesses, are barely surviving. If they don't sell something today, they can't pay rent or payroll next week.
Oh.
And so I was like, how come, Norm, Darren, we all started our business in part for financial freedom, right? Like to make money, but we're losing. Everyone's losing. And I challenge the notion that profit does not come last. Profit comes first. So I always take these contrarian positions when something isn't working. It's probably the opposite that will work.
Well, as a trained accountant, when I first picked up the book and I saw sales minus profit equals expenses, I'm like, wait a second.
You threw up in your own mouth a little bit, I bet.
Yeah, I was like, what exactly?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. So, and in reading the book, I'm realizing that it makes perfect sense, because one of my challenges for all my clients, and, Rob, who you met earlier, Rob's going to be on the show a little bit later.
Yeah. Rob
is one of them, where I would sit down with the balance sheet, the income statement, and he'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And, I said this to Liz this morning, because I had a call with Liz this morning. I said, I didn't realize how much accountants my clients needed to understand in order to understand me. And I tried to explain it really simple and make it simple. But no matter what you do, when you put a balance sheet, an income statement, and a cash flow statement in front of somebody, it's like, wait a second, how do they all tie together? What do you mean my loan payment is not on my, as part of my income? And, that comes off the balance sheet. Well, they don't,
Understand.
None of it clicked.
Yeah. So entrepreneurs in general use a whole different accounting system. We call it bank balance accounting. And the system is really easy. You don't need a bank balance. You don't need your balance sheet. You don't need a cash flow statement, income statement. All you have to do with bank balance accounting is log into your bank account. And the rule is this: if you have money, you can spend it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you panic.
I do that every morning.
Yeah. So you're an entrepreneur.
That's it. That's the way it is.
That's how the vast majority of small businesses operate. And when I say small business, the SBA defines a small business as a company that does $25 million in revenue or less.
Yeah.
Many businesses that I work with are far smaller than that. They're sub-million. But even businesses that are between 1 and 5 million, it is surprising how many entrepreneurs run their business this way. And instead of fighting that habit, my question was, how do we actually leverage that habit, continue to do that, but channel the outcome we want, drive profitability? So the Profit First system sits within the bank accounts. And now by allocating money to different bank accounts with different intended uses, labels, the entrepreneur knows what the money is intended for before they spend it. It's like the envelope system applied to bank accounts.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that. I got a company, took on a little over a year ago, and that's how he ran his company. Now, this company is third generation.
Yeah.
Right. That the family started back in 1925. So the company's been
Wow, that's a long time.
And they're still, he's still getting up every morning looking at the bank account.
And profitable, I bet, because he's doing the multiple accounts.
Well, no, he's not. We're just getting him into that.
Oh, he's not doing it yet. Well,
No,
he will
no,
be. He will be
It's
profitable.
habit.
He's
It's really
getting there.
habit that you go and you do this, because you have good times and you have bad times. When you want to know what time you're in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So we have now over 350,000 businesses that have implemented Profit First to varying degrees. Some of them just have the basic parameters, the basic framework. Other ones hire Profit First professional, they get more sophisticated. I had a call with my accountant who is not Profit First Professional. And the reason we work with him is we don't want to have a conflict of interest.
Right.
And he tells me yesterday, I wish you would just get rid of all those accounts. Now we've taken it to the umpteenth degree. We have 15 accounts at our main bank, 6 at a different. And I said, Keith, before I would do that, I got to ask you a question. I said, how many clients do you have? He said, we have about 700 clients, not tax clients, like actually active business clients. So they're a big firm, I said, tell me, profitability wise on a percentage basis, I know you can't tell other companies information, but just where do we rank within those companies? I said, top 10%. He's like, yeah. I said, top 5%. He goes, yeah. I said, top 2%. He goes, maybe. We're the top 2% most profitable clients he has, and he still can't see the power of having multiple accounts.
Yeah.
He reverts back to the traditional training and saying, but this isn't accounting. And the beautiful thing about Profit First, by the way, is not an accounting system. It's a cash management system that sits below or on top of, if you want to say it that way, on top of the accounting. So the accounting doesn't go away. This is just a way to manage cash flow easily.
Right. And I've seen an immediate change in my business in doing that, because I went and did that. And, during this COVID thing, you can't go to the bank and just set up the accounts. So I found a bank, following your advice, found a bank charging no fees or anything like that.
Love it.
It's actually the credit union. I went and I was able to set up 8 accounts right away. And we did it virtually. It took like a week and a half.
These were 8 accounts for you?
Yeah. And we'll explain it. We'll explain it a little bit later, what all these accounts mean when Rob and Errol come on. Because Errol, who I just took on as a client, already had 10 accounts set up.
I love it. Was Errol already doing Profit First?
Yeah, he read the book in January.
Nice.
And then and it's funny because he went to the same credit union that I went to.
Oh.
And so we're, it's like, boom, everything is just tying in with that. And I put Rob into this credit union also. So, that's awesome. Because it's, again, no fees, anything like that. And they're actually earning interest on every account.
I love it.
Yeah. But I saw an immediate change in my cash flow. I was going from, I was at Chase. I had 1 account, and every week I'm like, okay, do I have enough? Yeah, I should have enough to get through, and and all that other stuff. And then immediately by implementing it, it was like, oh yeah, I got plenty. I know exactly how much I got for each area, and I know I got plenty now. And
well, you had the same amount of bills, monthly charges, whatever it may be. What was the difference? It's just a question of accounts.
The difference was, Norman, the way you set the accounts up, right? So the base accounts, and Mike, don't yell at me if I get them wrong, right?
This is your certification at risk right now. You better nail it.
You got the income account. That's where you put all your deposits. Okay. Then you got your profit account, your owner's comp, taxes. Okay. Profit, right? Owner's comp and OPEX. Okay. All right. So those are the 5 basic accounts that you would set up. Now, what you also do is you set up in another bank that's difficult to actually get access to. You set up a couple of other accounts where you're going to put your profit hold, okay, and your tax hold account into. I got it, right, Mike?
You nailed it. Yeah. So you passed the first step. Well done.
That's why you're certified.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And what you do is you take based on your numbers, and there's this great tool that Mike's team actually gives us access to as Profit First Professionals, and I did this with Rob, and I'm going to be doing this with Errol this week, running their numbers through. So you get an idea where the percentages should be. But here's the thing, it's not a radical change. It's change over time. You could set it for 4 quarters, 6 quarters, or 8 quarters on how you want to make the changes so you can get to where you should be. And the whole point of this is this. Your money comes in, you're going to take your profit percentage first, you're going to take your owner's comp next, you're going to take your taxes for your owners next, and then the OPEX is the last thing on the list. If you don't have enough money to pay all the bills that come out of OPEX, you need to clean up those bills. Right.
Mike, can I ask you a question, Mike?
Yeah.
You said you had a couple of businesses where you've made some money and you sold. So what kind of businesses were they?
I was in the tech space. So first was called Computer Integrator. Now they call them, I think, MSPs. That was acquired by private equity. My second business was the interesting one. It was in computer crime investigation. So my company was one of the investigators in the Enron trial, Christy Brinkley's divorce. Now, just to be very clear on the defense side, so for Enron, it was the CIA and the FBI, and the opposition representing Kenneth Lay, Andrew Fastow. That was my company. And by the way, the evidence is no longer sequestered. They were guilty. They were very guilty. But that's what work we did, and it put us on the map very quickly because we got these marquee cases. I bootstrapped the company too. It was acquired by Robert Half International. But I think the interesting thing of those stories is those businesses were never profitable. I was experiencing, which maybe you guys will talk about later, but this thing called Parkinson's law, where revenue, you're doing this and it's growing, but expenses almost uncannily move at the exact same rate. I remember I got my first business to $1 million. I'm like, okay, I've arrived now. Where's my million? And I had nothing. I had to refinance my house to cover payroll.
I know that feeling.
What was that?
I know that feeling.
It sucks. I got to 7 million, nothing. And here's what I found is that sales equates to stress. Sales is responsibility. The more I was selling, the more we sell, the more obligation on the business. And if you're a small business owner, we carry the weight pretty much on our shoulders. I was under the burden of the stress, having to deliver on this. The balance is profit. And it was never there. I was lucky to exit, to sell those companies. I then had this perverted belief that profit happens one day, eventually. And really it's an exit. If you can exit, that's when you make your money. So my third business.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my third business, I was an angel investor. I thought this is the interesting one. I just said, well, I'm just going to make it rain because I'm a millionaire anyway. I'm going to make it rain for all these different businesses and invest. I sucked at it. I had no right to be in that space. And I lost on every single business. I evaporated all my wealth within 2 years. I mean, like that, everything was gone. And that was my wake-up call that profit is not an event. Profit is a habit. We must bake into every transaction, every day within our business. And it's this accumulation of small profit events that yield a permanent profit.
Does Robert have other things that they do besides the employment business?
Yeah. So Robert Half had a division called Protiviti. That was who acquired me. It's called a risk management firm. But they also own, to your point, they own account temps, office temps, all of that.
Because that's the industry that I was in.
Oh, we're okay. So yeah. So Robert Half, the traditional name is staffing, but right. Protiviti was former Arthur Andersen, got spun back up into this company called Protiviti after they had a collapse. And then they were our acquirers.
Got it. Okay. I didn't know that.
That's fantastic. So Mike, let's touch on Fix This Next. All right. So we kind of covered the profit first stuff. So why Fix This Next? What prompted you to come up with this?
A technical glitch. It takes me about 5 years to write a book. I'm writing 3 right now, so they'll come out over time. But 5 years ago, I emailed out about Fix This Next. And I just emailed my readership saying, what's the biggest challenge that your business is facing in the year ahead? My technical faux pas was I triple clicked. So the same email went out like multiple times the same day, asking what's the biggest challenge your business is facing this year? And in some cases, the same person answered with different biggest challenges for the year on the same day. Like in the morning was sales, afternoon was hiring, it was technology and systems in the evening.
Right.
And that's when it became clear. And the thesis for my book is the biggest challenge entrepreneurs face is knowing what their biggest challenge is.
Mm-hmm.
We're firefighters. And if you grow your business, you're simply a fire chief because we're constantly just putting out more and more fires. We're addressing the apparent issues. So I wrote Fix This Next to identify what is the one most impactful thing our business needs from us. How do we pinpoint it rapidly and then focus our attention there and start moving our business forward deliberately as opposed to continuous circles.
Yeah. And you know what? I again, grabbed a hold of that book, read through it, and was like, this thing is fantastic. This is a great way, like you said, to pinpoint.
Yeah.
Because, I keep talking about Rob from Zipbox. That's one of Rob's things. It's like every day he's like, okay, I gotta worry about this. I gotta worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
How do we fix this? How do we fix that stuff? Yeah. And he's constantly changing gears and he's constantly changing direction.
Yeah, there's a term for that, by the way. It's called being a human being.
Yes, exactly.
That's the vast majority of the world is what it's a behavioral response. So a lot of my books are related to behavioral psychology. That's my interest is how our mind operates. And we put preference or deference into apparent urgent issues because there's a reward mechanism. If I tackle that issue that's right in front of me, I will feel relief right away. It's like, hey, took care of an issue. I call it the superhero syndrome. If you remember the old Batman with Adam West, you would see Batman swoop in with Robin and they'd save the day. And what happens though is it disables the police force from even defending themselves. The police chief of Gotham City had a red bat phone because he needed a hotline when they couldn't fix a problem yet again.
Yeah.
And that's what we become as entrepreneurs. We become the Batman swooping in, fix the day and leave. And we actually disable our team from doing things. So we need to learn what's the one thing that we need to concentrate our efforts on. And all those apparent issues, they need to be addressed by the team. And they can be. It's a deliberate process. It takes time, but we got to get out of that superhero mode and move to what I call a super visionary. Someone has clarity on the outcome and choreographs resources around them to make that outcome a reality.
Well, that's the biggest problem with all of us as entrepreneurs is we just want to fix it. Let's just fix it and move on to the next step.
Totally. Because it's quick, it's easy, and you see results and you go, hey, I'm a superhero.
That's it.
But the problem is you got to do it for the rest of your life. You can, Batman's never retired. I think there's still movies. Superman's still working away. Spider-Man hasn't given up. Like they never retire.
Well, we all complain about it, right? So, it's one of the things that we swoop in, we fix the problem, and then we bitch and moan and complain that we had to swoop in and fix the problem. Why can't I get my people to do it? And it really comes down to systems. And it's one of the things that I'm always looking to be, with my clients is let's build up your systems, right? Which brings me to the last thing I wanted to talk to, because I know you don't have much more time, is I wanted to talk about the pumpkin plan. You see that? Yes.
No, you turn invisible
there
now.
you go.
There it is.
There you go.
The pumpkin plan.
Yeah.
This was actually, you wrote this before Fix This Next and Profit First, right? Now this book, again, this is like a step-by-step how we're going to get this thing going. And what's funny is last Friday, I meet with Rob on Fridays. When I met with Rob, one of the things we talked about was, he said, I have all my systems here, right? But my people don't know what they are. He goes, it's my fault I'm inconsistent. So, this was a couple of Fridays. I said, you got to write them all down and give them to me. So he wrote them all down and gave them to me. Now, in the meantime, I was reading this book last week, and guess what piece I picked up on getting the systems written down the right way, right? Nice. The airline safety card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Which is because he's a moving company. One of the things he talked about was when we arrive at a house, what's the first thing we got to do? We got to protect the doorways. We got to put things down. We got to do it. And movers, right? Well, put a card in the truck. Here's the checklist of things you got to do. Now I'm a pilot, so I live on checklists.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I like those cards where it's okay. Step one, step two, here we go. We're going to go down the checklist. We're going to make sure all that stuff is. So by you putting it that way, I was like, perfect for his situation.
I have never used her story. And actually her name skips my mind, Elizabeth something. She was a Black Hawk pilot, the helicopter, and it was having catastrophic failure. And she was able to land it following a checklist. Yeah. And if you think about, an airplane, a Black Hawk helicopter, there is thousands of moving parts.
Yep.
And the uneducated response, I shouldn't say uneducated, but the kind of panic response is, oh, what part is it? And you'll never make it and you're done. But they had their airline safety card, a simple checklist, which prioritizes in sequence what's the most likely cause. And here's the evasive action to take. And then the secondary. Yep. And what it does is it allows her in the moment to prevent that tunnel vision. Sadly, some of these airline crashes that I've read where it was pilot failure, it's because they actually went into a tunnel vision. Yep. They thought something was a problem. And when they couldn't fix it, they stayed with that same problem, trying to fix the same thing in different ways when it was a whole different problem.
Now, every business has a checklist. It's a question of whether you use it or you don't use it. And to keep it to yourself doesn't do the rest of your clients any good. See, in my business, my people that work for me are my clients, or I do work for them, but they have a checklist that I give them so they can't whine and moan and groan at the end of the day. I give it and you have to follow it. And there you go. You're 199% right.
And you got to extract it from your mind, right? So some businesses have a checklist, but it just sits in the person's head.
Yeah.
So one person may be capable, but sometimes they forget, but no one else is capable because they've never extracted that from their mind. So that's
Right.
key.
And it's repetitive. It's being repetitive with it. And that's one of the things we do. Is I fly for the Air Force Auxiliary. So, we're all about the training and all about the checklists and doing everything the same way every time. So when that situation comes up, and that's one of the things we train for, is those emergency situations, we have our emergency checklists. Okay, what's the situation? Here's what you do. Boom, boom, boom. You try this. If this doesn't work, then you go on to the next thing. Then you go on to the next thing. And then all the way down to, okay, you got to put the airplane down. What do you do and how do you do it? So I'm always with systems and trying to get all my clients to create those bases of systems.
I'll tell you the key to get started, because it's a behavioral trait. It's very difficult to go from superhero, where you are saving everything, to actually assigning your police force to do the work themselves.
Right.
Start small. That's the key. And it's true probably with most things. What I realized for myself, because I always guinea pig all my experiments on myself first before I do it with clients or prospects, is my thing was just, can I start delegating properly small tasks like, invoicing or something that I was doing, but could be assigned to someone else and was relatively repeatable. Once I was able to start doing that, then I introduced the next system and the next. So I built my way up as opposed to doing something sophisticated, which would have overwhelmed them and me, and not doing everything at once. Small bites is how I did it.
That's the beauty of the systems that you've created. It's all these small bites where, we're making a shift, but it's not a drastic shift. It goes to, okay, I'm jumping on a diet. Well, when you hit your goal weight, what do? You go right back to the way you were doing things before. And the next thing you know, you're right back to the weight you were and everything else. So
that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. That keeps the diet people.
Yeah, the diet companies make a lot of money that way. Yeah.
But what the point I'm getting at is that, again, all these systems, I've been trying to find the right one. This is the first one that kind of says, let's do it in small chunks.
Yeah.
Let's not drastically change our culture. Let's not drastically change who we are. Let's figure out who you are and then make it work for you. And that's what I've been trying to do for a long time. So much so that, this was something, a revelation that came over to me, not a revelation, but a final decision over this weekend, thinking hard about it, is that this is it. If you're going to hire me as an accountant, you're getting the whole package. If you're not going to do the whole package, then, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be your accountant anymore.
That's bold, but I think it's smart. I think it will serve you and them in the long run.
Right. Because for the most part, I do most of that anyway for my clients. They're just not realizing it.
Yeah.
So it's coming in and telling them right out of the gate. This is
ka-ching, ka-ching,
ka-ching,
ka-ching.
Yeah. So my Maserati pickup needs gold rims. So there we go.
I thought you had the gold rims already.
No, I don't have gold rims on.
I thought you had them. All right.
But yeah, see, Mike, he thinks he's been to my house, but he tells everybody I got a circular driveway.
I heard a horse track. It sounds like a pretty impressive place.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a quarter-mile strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, quarter-mile, yeah. But I know you have to go. It's 7:30 now, and we really appreciate
7:33.
So 7:33. So
yeah, I got another commitment. But gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. I
Pleasure.
appreciate it.
Great
thanks,
job,
Mike. And we really appreciate having on. And everybody, I'll put the information up. Go to MikeMichalowicz.com to get more information, or Profit First. Look at Profit First, or FixThisNext.com. Also, you can go to. But I'll put all that information out, or come to my site, CBMS. Actually, CBMS.FixItNext.com, that they can go to, and they can actually take a free evaluation.
Exactly.
So,
you should send people there. That's the best starting point, honestly.
Yeah.
Or Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia. I'm a huge Virginia Tech fan.
So there you go.
As you can tell. All right, gentlemen. Have a good night. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So we're going to welcome in now.
What a nice guy.
A great guy, right?
Really good guy.
I told you.
Yeah, really, really nice.
So I want to
not as nice as the guy that's coming in. Next two guys coming in now.
Yeah, we got
really nice.
Rob Marchese from Zipbox,
Hey,
who's
Rob.
been on the show before. Actually, Rob was
3
on
other
the-
times.
What was that?
3 other times.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Rob, you were on the show 3 times?
Oh, he was on once before Darren, BD,
Right. Okay.
and twice with us. And this is the third time.
This one time with you guys, I was supposed to be on, and then
Oh, that's right. You screwed us. You didn't show up. Right.
Joe
I
came in
forgot.
his place.
Actually,
yeah, when Rob was on, you were in the hospital, I think, Norm. So that's how long ago that was. But Rob, welcome. And Errol Parker, all right?
Hey, Errol.
Actually, I'll give you a little background on Errol. Errol was referred to me by another one of my clients. And when we had a Zoom call set up, you know, to introduce each other to each other and whatnot. And I got on the call and he said, "Hey, I went to your website and I see you're a profit first professional." Basically, at that point, he's like, "I'm all in. Let's go." He goes, "Are you doing this?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "You know, absolutely." And he's come on, and Errol read the book and has really taken it to heart. He's got 10 separate bank accounts set up.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's done things, you know, I told you about the 5. So the way it works is you get the 5 basic accounts and you split it up by percentages. If you need more accounts, such as like in Rob's case, we're going to do a sales tax, a separate account just for sales tax. And we're going to do a couple of other accounts that Rob's, you know, got figured out that he wants to put money aside. Errol's also done that, but he's also, one of the things he's done is he's taken a certain percentage of his revenue and he's actually going to be giving it to charity. And he's got
what does Errol do? What does Errol do? Errol, tell us what you do.
So my wife and I are partners for an Amazon DSP. And without getting technical in the language, if you see those blue vans driving around your neighborhood, we are owners of some of those vans, delivering, as Amazon would say, delivering smiles to our customers every day. So
is that all around Long Island or in any particular location?
Well, our location varies, but for the most part, it is northwestern Suffolk County. So we're talking about the at Rob's area, Hauppauge. We're talking about Smithtown, Nissaquag, but sometimes we'll go to the South Shore.
Do you do Holbrook?
No, we don't do Holbrook. We will go on the south side a little bit in the Bellport areas and Bayshore, but it's usually in those areas of Suffolk County.
And you see them everywhere. And Errol's got a great business going with this. I'm excited to be working with him because he's already got the profit first thing going, and then we're going to refine it together, and we're going to do some other things together to actually get that. So, Errol, let me ask you this first, and then Rob, will get to you in a sec. What made you pick up the book, or who introduced you to the book?
It's a great question. So in the beginning, when we were negotiating with Amazon in terms of whether they wanted me to be one of their contractors and whether it was a fit for me, they take you in front of different demonstrations, different seminars, and they introduce some of their more successful DSPs, which stands for Delivery Service Partner, in case anyone's wondering. And one of the speakers was in my opinion, very successful. And he said a couple of things that resonated with me. And I walked up to him after the conference or the seminar just to introduce myself and kind of drilling for some more questions or more information. And I said, well, how are you running your business? You know, how are you keeping a track on top of, you know, the different accounts and things of that nature? And he just simply said, in a matter of fact manner, profit first. So, you know, I didn't know exactly what that was at the time. Of course, I wrote it down and I researched it and I saw this book. And this was back in maybe May of 2019. But I did not read the book until January of 2020. And during that time, you know, we had launched, and it was difficult in the beginning. Any, you know, new initiative is, you know, you have your bumps and your growing pains and your learning obstacles and things of that nature. But I wish I had read the book then, because Mike did not speak on it when he was earlier during this seminar, but he said that an entrepreneur should enjoy what they do. But it's difficult to enjoy what you do when you are all over the place, you know, and you're trying to manage things and you don't really have a great control over things. So once I was able to read the book and get a real understanding of, you know, the profit model and owner's compensation and OPEX and taxes and things of that nature, then there was more control. And when there was more control, then there was a peace and there was more enjoyment to the business venture. So I started with an introduction back in May, but I didn't pick up the book until January. But there's one other thing, quick aside. So I did have an accountant prior to my connection and partnership with Darren. And like Rob did with Darren in introducing the book to Darren, I attempted to introduce the book to my accountant. And unfortunately, it must have fallen on deaf ears. So he's watching me open these accounts and he's challenging me as to why I'm doing it and saying it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make a difference. And I guess that was the indicator that that relationship wasn't going to last.
Like I said when Mike was on, you know, Mike has this sales minus profit equals expenses. We were trained completely different. We were all trained as accountants that no, you know, sales minus expenses equals your profit. That's the way it is. Here's how we do it. Here's our financial statements every month. If you don't understand it, that's not my problem because I know the numbers are what the numbers are. And I know how to fill out your tax return based on this, whether you understand why you're paying the taxes the way you are or not. And that was one of the things and a challenge that I've always had with my clients is I couldn't understand why they couldn't understand. And you know, I said it before, you know, the term I use is accountantese, right? So we speak a different language. Accountants speak a different language. And I think a lot of it is, and this, you know, I laugh about it now. This gentleman by the name of Keith Cunningham, who talks all the time about CFO work and finances, and he, you know, he does speaking stuff. He talks about how accountants like make up words to confuse their clients. So they always feel like they're smarter than them. And, you know, when I look back at it, I go, I've never tried to be that way. But when you look at everything we're taught and how to present, and that's exactly what it is to show you, hey, you need us because, but I don't want to be like that. I want us to be partners where you say, hey, you know what? I understand what you're talking about. Okay, cool. I want to make a decision. I need a sounding board for it. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Or how do I do this now? And that's really where Rob came up because Rob's always, since he started Zipbox, was it almost 2 years now, right, Rob? That Zipbox is really up.
3 years or so. Right?
Yeah, just about 3 years. When he started, well, we've been working together about 2 years now, right? So when Rob's always trying to find a better way of doing it. And he said, hey, I read this book, Profit First. Take a look at it. Tell me, you know.
Little did Darren know that was a test because I was going to move forward with this with or without him. He had no interest and wanted to fight me on this, almost like your accountant sounded like he did. I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to have to find myself a profit first professional. And then he called me up and said, hey, man, guess what? I'm becoming a profit first professional and I got to kind of do like a case study. So for lack of better words, with 3 clients at least, you know, so, you know, we'll kind of just throw this in with what we're already doing, you know? So
yeah.
What's cool is that I know that he's not going to know everything about it at this moment. And we probably could almost teach each other things as time goes on. But, you know, the fact that he's following it in his own life is, you know, it's great. I love being able to help people just even by nature. So to know that I introduced him to that, and then now maybe he might change your life, Darryl, or, you know, or help you change your life is just super, super cool to me.
Well, I look at it like this, with the 3 of us, right? And this is something, and I think, Rob, I hope you've gotten this vibe from me all along, is I'm always trying to help and I'm always trying to learn something because I don't know everything. And I know I don't know everything. You know, I've been just like every other entrepreneur. I've been up and I've been down. And I've invested. I owned a minor league basketball team. I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on doing that. You know, oh, it's cool to own a minor league basketball team, but you know, it was a financial flop.
It's cooler if you played on that team as well as on.
Oh no, these guys were, you know, these guys were monsters. I mean, it was, you know, but that's beside the point. But, you know, I've invested in things where I've lost a ton of money, and, you know, I've done things where I sit there and go, why did I do that? Or if I had different knowledge, I think I could have done better with it. So I'm always looking, and that's what I was talking about when Mike came on. I'm always looking for a better way of doing things, you know, and I've read E-Myth and I'm EOS. I'm an implementer for EOS. It's another, you know, thing in that coaching program, and, you know, but they really focus on just a complete pivot in the way you think. where profit first and fix this next. And the pumpkin plan, if you haven't read the pumpkin plan, that's a good one to read, because that's one of the things we're going to be talking about soon. All right. Because I'm implementing that also. And Rob, that's where I got the airline card thing from.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty cool. I'm actually probably halfway through Pumpkin Plan. I actually put that on hold and jumped into E-Myth Revisited, which is also just an amazing book. You know, for anybody out there who has it.
They all have great information. So it's like taking the best of the best. Let's all wrap it together and let's all make everybody else's lives better. You know, that's the whole goal.
You can read all the things in the world. If you don't implement it, it don't mean
right.
shit.
Exactly. Well, it's like we were talking about before. You know, I bought a rowing machine. I have a rowing machine in the other room. You know, it's not going to do me any good just sitting there, right? I got to get on it and I got to row. Same thing with all of these programs. You got to get on and you got to row. You got to get on the machine. You got to start using it, and you got to want to use it. Too many times I work with people that give me the yeah. And look, I'm old. You know, as you can tell from
I'm old.
Else, been around a while. I can tell when somebody's just yammering me to death, and I don't want to work with those people anymore. I want to work with people like you, Errol, like you, Rob, that really want to make a change in your lives for the better.
A rowing machine, is that the one that's in your spa?
Yeah, the one that's in my spa. Yeah.
Why don't we tell everybody, or why doesn't Rob tell everybody exactly what he does? We mentioned that he was on the show a few times, but Rob, what do you do?
Well, I own a moving and storage company. So, you know, just your traditional moving and storage, and we have a storage feature that gives a little bit of a twist. You know, so we have a technology that allows our customers to have a photographed inventory of anything that it is that they store with us. So, you know, ultimately with the push of a button, you could have items picked up and delivered from your home. You know, so but you know, primarily right now our main focus is of course is storage, but you know, but moving people. You know, right now with everything that's going on with the COVID situation and kind of all the craziness going on in the city, you know, there's a ton of people just looking to flee New York City. You know, so it's been a big focus of ours of helping people relocate out of Manhattan primarily.
Now, I remember I think maybe one of your first customers back when you first got started, and I took my stuff. You picked it up for me from Northport, and you moved it to Ronkonkoma. And I had been with you for quite a while until I recently moved and have a garage now. But I have to tell everybody as a testimonial, you were the bomb. Your business, your concept, and what you do. And I got the guys that moved me in your company, they were so professional, so nice, so caring. That card that you were talking about, the things to do and not, they took care of the things that I knew. I didn't say, they just took care of everything. They were really, really terrific.
I think that's the one thing that I think sets me apart from a lot of other companies is the fact that I will sacrifice growth for quality. You know, I really try to focus on just hiring really, really good people and hopefully to start off they're good movers. But if not, you know, we want to train them to become good movers. But I try to find good people first, and you know, customer service and just quality of the way that we move people's stuff. You know, when I started this business, I had no idea on how emotional moving and storage was for people. Just not something that you really would think of, right? Until I've had a chance to go on, you know, thousands of in-home estimates and early on working on the truck every day myself and going into customers' homes and, you know, listening to the stories of why it is that they're moving, or, you know, when I've delivered boxes or bins back to people and sat on their couch while they went through the bins to just collect a few items out of it. And, you know, and how each bin had, you know, momentums in them from a deceased relative or, you know, or things from their childhood or whatnot. It's like, you know, to traditional movers, you're going to look at it as a box, as a piece of furniture, but there's stories behind all of that stuff, you know, and I try
personal attachment to everything. Yeah,
there is, you know, there is
attached to our stuff. You know,
there is, and you know, and you hear the horror stories of people. And again, you know, I never wanted to be a moving company. You know, when my partner and I first discussed this concept, we didn't want to become a moving company. That was we actually said, like, we do not want to become a moving company.
Yes.
And we don't want to be known as a moving company because of sort of this negative notion of moving companies, that you're going to throw your stuff on the back of a truck and, they're throw your stuff in the truck, close the doors, and they're going to triple your price. They're going to break all your stuff. And we realized that, like, what, we could be a moving company, but we could, be the complete opposite of what most people would think a moving company to be. And, and early on it was, we were a moving company anyway. We looked at it as like, oh, we're an on-demand storage company, but we were a sexier moving company, for a lack of a better term. We had moving and storage with a little bit of technology. Really not much is done different than it's been done for 1,000 years. Back when they were doing it on horse and buggies, except
you also added professionalism to that business.
Well, yes.
That word, which is not associated with the moving and storage industry, you added to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to give a couple of shout outs. We got a few people on the line. Again, I can't see everybody, but Freddie the Painter's on. I know you use Freddie, Rob, right? Matt Hornick's on, Paul George. Chris Gannon actually gives you a testimonial saying that it's true. Zipbox does an amazing job, because I know you've moved Chris also, right?
I have.
So you help with them, and thanks guys for watching. We really appreciate that.
That's it. We got 4 people watching tonight.
Well, that's all I can see. Unfortunately,
right.
I can't see everybody.
Just
But
checking.
we're over 10 eyes constantly all show, so we're good. We got a lot of people watching tonight, so we're probably in the millions tonight, Norm. So that'll make you happy.
That's a little less than last week.
Yeah, a little less. No, it's not that much, Harold. we got a good audience.
We always have a good audience. Thanks to them.
We always have a good audience, and
We've been around for as long as we have, so that's great. We thank you.
Yeah, but when I talk about like Fix This Next, have you read that yet, Rob or Harold?
I haven't.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So that's his new book, Fix This Next. And really what he focuses on there is what's going on right now that we have to take care of first. And there's a hierarchy in the way that it's done. And I put it up on there, cbms.fixthisnext.com. If you go there, you can take a free self-assessment of what you really need to focus on now. It's 25 questions. And what it's all going to give you is where are you hurting, and let you zoom in on that and fix that. And then once you fix that, then you go back and it's like almost like you do it again. But working with a Fix This Next professional like me, because I am certified in it, I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to help you move through that. So when I know we've conquered the one, we can go to the next and go to the next and go to the next. Where Pumpkin Plan really is the whole ball of wax. Let's lay it out. Let's build all the operations, get your systems in place, get all these things. And then we can go into, okay, now what do we got to fix? Now, where do we got to, clean it up a little bit, so to speak, to get it really tight. So, that's why and they all work together. It's when you read Fix This Next, there's things for Profit First that are in there. And if you read Pumpkin Plan, you're going to see Pumpkin Plan flows into Profit First, which flows into Fix This Next. So they all tie in. It's a nice, neat package, and it really gives you the way I'm describing it, a holistic way of looking at your company, where it's just not accounting, operations, sales. It's looking at everything all at once. So it's. I know I'm all hyped up tonight. I got to slow down.
You think?
Yeah, I'm just like, look,
you're excited about what you're doing, and that's
I love what I do.
That's positive.
And that's the thing. I love what I do. And for years, and I can tell you this, when I first got into accounting, I'm like, what am I doing? Because it was just sit there with the calculator, just doing the numbers all day long. And I'm like, this isn't me. And I got into consulting, and I said, okay, I'm good at the accounting, and I found I was good at consulting. Okay, how do I make them tie in together? And it took a long time to figure out how to make it work right. So I think, we're finally rounding it out, so to speak, where we're going to give quality service to our clients now. I think we've been giving good service to our clients for years, but now it's the whole bowl of wax. It really is the whole bowl of wax now.
Rob, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
You can call our office. Phone number is 631-677-1251. You can also go to our website, zipbox.com. That's ZIPPBOXX.com. And if you were looking for a move or a moving estimate, you could just fill out the quick little form on there. It gives us some basic details, and a move consultant will get back to you pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, they call you back fast. I will attest to that. Errol, do you deal with the general public or just through Prime?
We deal just through Prime, but we're always looking for people who want to partner with us in delivering those smiles. So I'll give my website as well.
And your phone number if you wish.
Yep, absolutely. EY Parker stands for Errol and Yvonne, my wife, eyparker.com. And our phone number is 516-208-2701. 516-208-2701.
Great.
All right. So if you guys want to get a hold, I put that stuff up on Facebook, get it out there. All right. We really appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight, giving your insight as to why you've chosen to implement those things. And, with Rob, we're going to have fun with Rob because there's a lot of things. I know Amazon kind of gave you a good framework on how to do things.
Yes.
But Errol, you got some great things going on, especially on a charitable side. That conversation we had today, I'm just like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
Let's make it happen for you.
You got a minute or two? Do you want to explain that, or is it too soon to explain anything?
Errol, explain what your thought process was in that whole thing, because your explanation to me was fantastic.
Sure. It's still in formation. We are just about to secure our 501c3 status. It started out as an initiative to really help education. Many colleges and also primary and secondary schools that are suffering financially. Some of them are doing things that resonate with both my wife and I, and we were just looking for opportunities to give back to help them along. Additionally, my wife has a particular interest in helping sort of underserved or underserviced young ladies, young girls. So she has an initiative that she's looking to push forward. So what we did was a few years ago, we started this foundation where we were going to actually receive funds, receive contributions, and help build up those types of systems and organizations. Then with Amazon coming along, we said, hey, well, why don't we just jumpstart this and seed it directly? So one of the accounts that we talked about or Darren intimated at earlier is that we have an account that goes specifically for charitable giving, and that will feed into the not-for-profit, and then we'll do a lot of activity from there. So we're still forming it, but we're very close, and we're really excited about making a difference.
Well, maybe one day when Darren remembers, he may tell you that his partner on the TV show happens to be a fundraiser and deals with charities for well over 30 years. And I can maybe, just maybe, help you achieve that goal when you are ready and the world is ready.
No, actually, what I was going to tell him was, Errol, the last Wednesday of every month, we reserve for charities. So you can come on, you can promote yourself and everything like that. Okay. So when we're ready to launch, we're going to bring you on. So bring you and your wife on, and you can talk about the charity, and we can get the word out, and we can get everything going for you.
Excellent.
All good. Wish you a lot of good luck with everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
All right. And Rob, I want to thank you again for being on, taking the time. I know you got a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But again, I want to thank Rob from Zipbox and Errol from EY Parker, right?
EY Parker Logistics, yes.
Yeah, EY Parker Logistics for coming on tonight and sharing your stories about why you're getting involved in what you're doing here with Profit First. And, I look forward to continuing my relationship with you guys and really doing some great things with both of you.
We thank you for being on. Thank you.
All right.
For having me on.
Thanks, guys.
So long.
Have a good night.
Nice to
Have a
meet
good
you.
night.
See you
Same,
guys.
Rob, thank you. All right.
All right. So that was
And
fantastic.
another
man.
great show.
It was.
You
It
were
was
on
a great
fire
show.
tonight.
I'm telling you, I'm pumped up about this.
You are
I am
so
really
pumped up.
about
Whatever you're on, I want some. Oh, really good stuff.
I
Mike
tell
was
you,
a really good guy.
Yep, Mike
Very
was a really,
impressed.
yeah, he's a really good guy. You know, I really appreciate him take the time that he gave us, because he was on 45 minutes with us. People don't know he was on 15 minutes. He actually came on like 22. So I know you.
But
came
nobody
in,
else was on, so it didn't matter.
well, he was on at 22. Then Rob and Errol like popped in right after him. So
Right.
that all worked out. But I want to thank again Mike for being on, Rob for being on, Errol for being on. And what do you got planned for this week? What's going on, Norm?
Also, as we're thanking everybody, I want to thank all the viewers and all our fans that continually support the Business Power Hour. So I thank you for that. Things are starting to merge. We're getting, I was going to say very, but we're getting real close to the virtual concerts. Another Zoom meeting tomorrow with a major virtual system that's out there, a continuing conversation. This is our third. By Friday, I think we'll have some good idea, because technically, I can't do anything technically. So we have some really professional people that do this for a living that have joined us and want to be involved in friend entertainment and these particular shows. So that's real good, and the staffing is starting to pick up. So those are good signs that I'm getting a haircut. So I'm really happy about that.
You got to be excited about that,
By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, baby, I am there. I am there. I'm going to get rid of all this crap.
All right, so we're not actually we're gonna rerun a show tomorrow night. Our guest that was supposed to be on, unfortunately, got ill.
Hospital.
And we wish her well. But we will be back next Wednesday. All right. Next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, right here on the Business Power Hour. We wish everybody a good week, and we will see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.
7 o'clock. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody.
Yep. Everybody stay safe. Good night, everybody.
Good night.